I'm Christina from Be in the World Yoga, and thank you for joining me for yoga today. So welcome to my living room. We're going to do some fun yoga poses to help us create strength and also movement in our body. Also to help us feel good, energetic, calm our minds, and just love life. Today we're going to do twists, and a little bit of core workout. So I'm just going to check to see if anybody has joined us live yet. And so real quick, hi Judy. Mwah. So we'll get started right away here. I just want to let you know, get some water, have some water handy, grab yoga blocks if you have them. If you have a strap or some kind of belt or pashmina, you can use that. You may want to use that for some of the poses. I'm going to throw my phone over there and we'll get started. Let's come to a nice, comfortable seat. You can sit on a block if you like, or you can just sit directly on the floor in a cross-legged position. Sitting on a block would look like this. And this is also really nice because it helps the hips become higher than the knees, which gives a little bit more opening in the hip creases here. It also helps you to neutralize your pelvis, which helps the spine to lengthen nice and tall. Okay? So if you see me looking down at a piece of paper, it's because it's my class for today and I just want to keep track. So let's come to that nice, comfortable seat and close your eyes. Take a nice inhale, sitting up tall, reaching the crown of the head up towards the sky. And exhale, let those shoulders drop away from the ears. Let the hip creases soften. Take a few more breaths here, lengthening the spine, increasing the volume of oxygen in the lungs. Exhale. Beautiful. Another breath in here. Spread the rib cage open here. Exhale. Beautiful. And just notice how you are feeling right now. Take a moment to observe any kind of little areas that might feel tight or just needs a little bit more opening today. And then breathe into that area. Use your mind and your breath to send the oxygen into that area. So breathe into that space. Exhale out through the nose. Take that 2 more times. And if you feel more comfortable with the eyes open, please stare at one point on the floor. Beautiful. And now filling up the lungs with air. We're going to take 3 cleansing breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhale out a nice sigh through the mouth. Take a big breath in. Beautiful. 2 more refreshing breaths. One more. Beautiful. And coming back to focusing on your alignment or your posture. Sit up nice and tall. Let the spine be nice and tall. The crown of the head lifting. Broaden the space between the shoulders. The front part, the back part. Let your hands gently sit on top of your knees. Soften your belly, your hip creases, and your legs. And take a moment here to notice the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. This is going to help us become more present when we bring our attention and awareness to the breath. Letting all other thoughts dissipate away. It's not necessary right now. Right now you're just connecting with self. becoming present. Beautiful. Let's inhale the palms to the heart center. Take an exhale here. Another inhale, inhaling. Beautiful. You can give yourself a smile at any time during the practice. Always invite joy if it wants to come in. Beautiful. Or you can just be present with however you're feeling at the moment. Gorgeous. Take your hands, rub them together. Feel that heat between the hands. With the eyes closed, start to pull your hands away from each other and notice that kind of electrical energy that you've created between the palms. Move your hands closer together and further apart. Almost feels like a womp, womp, kind of like an electric surge going between your hands. And then take your hands, place them right over your eye sockets, not pressing in. Take an inhale, breathe to the back of the eye sockets. Exhale. Beautiful. Take that 2 more times, breathing that beautiful energy to the back of the eye sockets. Waking yourself up, energizing yourself. Beautiful. And flutter your eyes open in your palms. Gorgeous. Float your hands down to the sides. Take your block out. Switch out your legs for a second here. Take a nice inhale, stretching those arms out to the side. Exhale, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over for a little side stretch here. Beautiful. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, other side. Beautiful. Exhale, take it down. Let's do that 2 more times. Moving the body, warming up the joints, the shoulder joints here, the spinal joints. Inhale to lift up. Exhale over. Inhale. Exhale the hand down. Other side. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale. And exhale. Take it down. Beautiful. Come on to your knees for a second, or your shins. Okay? You're going to take the right leg out to the side, and then kind of shimmy over to the left hip here. Take your your left leg on top of your right thigh. Now this may be a little challenging. If it is, just take that left leg out in front, scoot your right leg back a little bit, coming into this kind of a pinwheel thing happening with your legs. It's called pinwheel pose. Some people call it deer pose. There's many other names, I'm sure. So pick which one you want to do. I'm going to stick with the first one. Beautiful. Sitting up nice and tall. Take an inhale. And exhale. Reach your right hand past your left knee. Inhale. Left arm reaches up to the sky and back behind you for a little twist here. Now you can look over to the side or you can look back behind you. Take 3 beautiful breaths. Fill up the lungs. Feel the rib cage opening and spreading. Feel that left shoulder reaching back behind you. 1 more breath here. Gorgeous. Now bring yourself back to center. Switch out the legs. You take them right in front of you, shake them out for a second, and take them to the other side. So you could start in that pinwheel position and maybe take the foot on top or just stay with it. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, left arm reaches over. Got my little speaker there. Right arm reaches back behind you. Take an inhale. Exhale, maybe looking past the right shoulder. Take 3 breaths. You might feel this in your low spine. Beautiful. And bring yourself back to center. Gorgeous. Unravel those legs. Bring them out in front of you. Cool. We're going to come into Navasana, boat pose. So bringing your legs like so here. Grab the backs of your thighs. And now from here, inhale, lengthen your spine up nice and long. Beautiful. You're going to keep your belly engaged by doing that. And then lift your feet up so that your ankles and your knees are in line with each other. And you can stay here, take a few breaths. Or if you'd like, take the hands apart. Inhale, lift up your heart. Keep the spine nice and long. Sometimes we collapse in the low back. We want to keep the low back nice and long. And take a few breaths here. Beautiful. You're going to cross your ankles, bring them to the floor, and hands come down. Push your hands into the floor as you lean forward onto your hands. Lift your bottom up a little bit. Beautiful. Exhale. Come down. Grab the backs of your legs and come right into your Navasana. Again, turn the palms up. Take a bunch of breaths here, how many ever you want. Nice, long, smooth breaths. Feeling nice and strong. Lifting in your heart. Beautiful. Cross opposite ankles. And then lean forward. Hands come to the floor. Lift up your bottom. Send your heart forward. Beautiful. Exhale. Take it down. We'll come up again. Take beautiful, long, smooth breaths. Now, if this feels like too much to keep the legs up, you can do a little toe taps over here. And keep the arms out to the sides. So whichever one feels comfortable for you. You can even hold the back of the legs here. Take a few more breaths. You can point the toes or flex them. And one more time, cross those ankles, lean forward, lift up your bottom. Beautiful. Sit back down. Take your legs out in front of you. And just bring your elbows to the floor for a second, opening up your belly. Beautiful. Take an inhale. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Exhale. Point your toes. Inhale. Lift up your hips a little bit. Beautiful. Exhale. Take it down just to open up the belly a little bit. Take your legs back behind you and we'll come into tabletop position. Beautiful. And so tabletop position, the wrist creases are lined up with the front of the mat. The wrists are underneath the shoulders. Hips are over the knees. So you got your feet nice and hips distance apart here. Beautiful. So now from here, press your hands into the floor. Pull your belly to the back of the spine to make your spine nice and long. Tailbone reaching in one direction, crown of the head reaching in the other direction. Take 3 breaths here, feeling this very subtle energy that's happening in the body when you just start to activate, when you start to create the feeling of something is about to happen. Take a few breaths here. Press your tips of your fingers into the mat. Beautiful. Take an inhale. And exhale, we're going to lift the spine up towards the sky. Tailbone comes down and let the head drop here. You can look between the legs or look at the belly button. Inhale, draw the shoulders back and peel your heart open. That tailbone's going to reach up to the sky. So you get a nice stretch here. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale to come forward. Beautiful. Now do this on your own. I want it to feel really good for you to just feel your spine moving back and forth with the breath. Connecting the breath to your movement. Beautiful. Let your belly really stretch open when you let your heart come forward here. Let the belly stretch. Feel how that feels. Beautiful. And exhale. Press those hands into the floor as you round. Beautiful. Come back to center. Now I have my toes tucked. Untuck them if you do had them tucked like mine. And you're going to come onto the tops of the feet. We're going to press up onto them. Now if that doesn't feel good for you to keep the toes untucked while you're doing this, you can definitely tuck the toes. But what we're going to do is have the shoulders underneath the wrist here. Engage the belly, activate it. And when you're ready, inhale, lift the knees up off the ground. Take a few breaths here. So you see how everything's centralizing towards the belly here. You feel your hands pressing into the ground, shoulders are over the wrist. Everything's nice and strong. Exhale, take it down. A little note about if you do have wrist issues, take those forearms onto the ground. Another thing you can do is roll the front of your mat up and let the heels of your hands just come onto the mat so that they're pointed downward a little bit here. Beautiful. Hopefully you came down already. And from here, take another inhale. Exhale, press the feet into the ground. Take a few breaths here. Remember, forearms can be on the floor and you can have your feet tucked, your toes tucked here. But make sure you're pulling your belly toward the back of your spine. Beautiful. Take it down. Let's take an inhale. Let the belly stretch. Beautiful. And exhale. Lift up again. Take a few breaths here. Take it down. Sit back onto your heels and we'll come into a nice child's pose. Forehead's going to come to the ground. You can widen your knees if you like and take your hands back behind you. Take a few breaths here. Calming down the pace of the breath. Reconnecting back with the thing that we're trying to ignite, which is also calming energy. I have my air conditioner going here, which feels awesome. It's great to be right in front of that air conditioner. Gorgeous. Inhale your arms up over your head. Come to tabletop position. Beautiful. We're going to stay in tabletop position for one more moment. Remember also, if your knees, which I usually say this in every class, if your knees are hurting you on the floor, maybe you have a hardwood floor, make sure you have a blanket or a towel underneath your legs here. Beautiful. And from here, take your left hand underneath your shoulder. Inhale your right arm up to the sky. And exhale, needle and thread it. You're just going to send it right through. Inhale. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Exhale. Send it through. Inhale one more time. Exhale. This time, the right shoulder is going to come onto the floor. For a little twist, send the left arm up above the head. Take a few breaths. This should feel good, opening up the shoulder blades here. See if you can guide the hips so that they're centered, so that they're squared off with each other. Beautiful. And take that left hand back behind, press it into the floor, and both shoulders underneath, both hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, left arm reaches up to the sky. Exhale, needle and thread. Inhale, come on up again. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, take that shoulder onto the floor. Stretch the right arm overhead. Take a few breaths here. Try to, again, square off those hips. A little habit I have to continue to tell myself even. This is going to help to also keep that spine nice and long. Beautiful. And bring your right hand underneath your shoulder, left hand to follow. Tuck those toes. We're going to make our way into downward facing dog, opening up the hamstrings here, and start to bend one knee at a time, pedaling out through the feet. Now, you don't have to go real fast. You're not in a bicycle marathon here. Just nice and easy, feeling the back of the calves stretch open, the back of the hamstring. Calves are here, hamstrings are here. Beautiful. Gorgeous. And we're going to press our hands into the floor. Bring our heels, guiding them down towards the ground. Take an inhale. And exhale back to a child's pose. Forehead to the ground. And take your hands back behind you. Let your shoulder blades soften, pouring off of the body almost here. Take 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Come to tabletop position. And just to open up the front part of the top part of the body here, we're going to walk our hands forward to puppy pose. So spreading your fingers away from each other. Take an inhale and exhale. Forehead comes to the ground. Notice that the hips are still over the knees here. Take a few breaths, opening up your the chin comes to the ground. More flexible people will be able to get their chest to the ground. So if you're flexible in your upper spine, you might be able to get it there. Gorgeous. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. By the way, getting your chest on the ground does not have to be a goal. I actually will never get my chest on the ground because I have scoliosis in my upper back. So it's just a matter of like what is going on in your body, and you do the practice, and then you just kind of see how far you move into it. And eventually whatever happens, happens. It's kind of that thing. Just be with yourself and be with the practice. Tuck your toes here, spread through your fingers, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. You may notice how your chest feels a little bit more open, your arms feel a little bit more open after that puppy pose. Start to round the top part of your arms down towards the floor. This is going to separate the shoulder blades. Take a few breaths. Let your head go. And start to walk your feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat, coming into a standing forward fold. Bring your feet hips distance apart. We'll take first an inhale to a flat back here. Some people may want to put their hands on their shins, but make sure those knees aren't locking. And exhale, fold over your legs. And you could stay here, maybe softening the knees because maybe the hamstrings are feeling very tight. You could grab onto the insides of the elbows and do a little ragdoll here, rocking from left to right. Loosen your head up. Let your head just dangle off of your body. Release the neck muscles. Beautiful. Nice smooth breaths here. Gorgeous. And let's drop those hands to the ground. Take an inhale to a flat back. I prefer the hands on the floor. Or if you want to put blocks underneath your fingers, you can do that. Because this is going to help to activate the back body, the upper back. And the spine. Take another inhale. Exhale. Fold over the legs. Spread through your toes. Soften your knees. And let's roll up the spine. If you don't have any spine issues, roll up. Otherwise, take a flat back to come up, which would be looking like this. So rolling up your spine. Otherwise, vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. Roll the shoulders up and back. Remember, crown of the head is the last thing to come up. Beautiful. Coming into a gorgeous mountain pose. Take your feet hips distance apart. Make sure you have space around you. We're doing this in our house now, so you want to make sure we don't bonk our head or anything. And taking your feet hips distance apart, start to root your feet into the floor, pressing the balls of the feet into the floor, the heels of the feet in. Then guide the thighs in towards one another to energize those thighs. Inhale, lift the shoulders up and down. Fingertips reaching down towards the floor. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Palms can come together. And exhale, hinge at your hips to a forward fold. Remember, you can have those blocks underneath your hands. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step both feet back behind you. You're going to come into plank pose. Lift up through the low belly. Take an inhale, shoulders over the wrist. And exhale, knees to the ground. Remember, if you have wrist problems, forearms are on the floor here. Beautiful. Lowering down. And untuck your toes, point them. Elbows hug the side body as you inhale. Peel the heart up off the ground. So you're going to come up low probably initially. Keep those shoulders moving away from the ear in cobra pose. And exhale, tuck those toes, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take 2 breaths. Exhale. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to look forward and walk or step your feet to meet the hands. Come to a flat back. Exhale, fold over your legs. Soften your knees. Inhale, arms are going to reach out and up overhead. That's reverse swan dive. Palms come together. Exhale, prayer down the center line. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And exhale, swan dive over the legs here. Your feet can be hips distance apart. Inhale to a flat back. And exhale, hands to the ground. Step both feet back to plank pose. Reaching through your heels, inhale. Exhale, knees to the ground, bend the elbows, lowering down. Inhale up to cobra pose, or baby cobra here. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale, and an exhale. Another inhale. Exhale, turn those outside of the top arms down towards the floor. Inhale, look to the top of the mat and walk or step your feet to meet the hands, coming into a beautiful flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, reverse swan dive, palms come together. Exhale, just swan dive, folding forward again. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor, step both feet back to plank pose. This time you can change it up if you want. Bend the elbows through chaturanga and point the toes. Lift up into upward dog. If you want to keep the knees on the floor and come all the way down, you can. Or come up with the knees on the floor here. Beautiful. Exhale, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Shake out your head. Loosen any tension. Sometimes when we're getting new information, we tend to hold on to the muscles of the shoulders and the neck. Take 3 breaths here. Beautiful. Option to more of the veteran yogis, if they want to, they can jump and hop to the front of the mat, or you can walk or step. If you're hopping, bend the knees, bring your feet. Well, just hop. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, bring the palms down to the heart center. This is Samastiti pose, which is a different type of mountain. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to change it up, opening up our hip flexors, coming into classical namaskara. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step the right foot back behind you. Coming onto the ball of the back foot. Inhale, let your heart reach forward into this lunge. And exhale, take the knees to the ground. This is where you might situate your blocks with you. Take your hands onto your knees or bring your hands onto higher blocks. And from here, straighten out the front leg so that the knee is over the ankle. Not past it right now. Straightening out the back leg so that the hip is over the knee. Beautiful. Take the tailbone down towards the floor. Lift up the low belly and inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale. Now we're going to keep the tailbone reaching down as we soften the hips forward. Lift up through your low belly. Take another inhale. Look up to the sky. Beautiful. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Step both knees together or step both feet back to plank pose. And you're going to go whichever way you want. Maybe it's bent elbow. Maybe it's all the way to the ground. So going through your vinyasa. Remember to use the inhales to lift up and the exhales when you're mostly times folding forward, getting less room in the body. Take a few breaths here. Beautiful. And we're going to take our left foot to center. Inhale the right leg up to the sky. Stack the hips on top of one another here. So that you may just be right here, which is totally fine. Take a few breaths. Beautiful. Exhale, bring the right knee into the belly. And you're going to take your right foot off to the side, closer to the right thumb. Take the left knee down to the floor and inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, take the hands to the hips. So now we're on the left side, left hip over the left knee, right knee over the right ankle, tailbone reaching down, lifting up through the low belly. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, soften forward. Take a few breaths here. Actually, one more inhale and exhale. Hands frame the front foot. You're going to lean onto that right foot, come onto the ball of the back foot, and then step both feet together in this forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. Palms can touch. And then exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, left leg reaches back behind you. Bring the knee to the ground. Back toe can be pointed or tucked. This is pointed, this is tucked. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, tailbone reaches down as you soften the hips forward. This time the knee might go past the right ankle. Beautiful. Take 3 breaths here. Spread through your front toes, pressing that right big toe into the ground. Maybe the palms come together and you let the first 3 fingers down. Beautiful. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Step both feet back behind you into plank or knees to the ground. Lower down. Inhale up. This is upward dog. Maybe you're doing cobra. Cobra may get a little higher. Exhale to downward facing dog. Feet are hips distance apart. Send those sit bones up and back behind you. Let your head go. Take your right foot to center. Inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky. Stack the hips. Open it up there. Feel that beautiful stretch. I also like to feel that extra stretch in my right leg here as I'm doing this. Beautiful. Exhale. Pull the knee into the belly. Send the left foot towards the left thumb. Right knee comes to the ground. Inhale. Sweep those beautiful arms up. Tailbone reaches down. Exhale. Soften the hips forward. Take a few breaths. Maybe the first 3 fingers clasp. If you want to do opposite fingers than before, you could. Notice the weirdness when you do the opposite fingers. Beautiful. And exhale those beautiful hands to the floor. Tuck the toes. Come on to the left foot and step both feet together into a nice forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold again. Take the insides of your elbows. Take your feet hips distance apart. And rock from left to right. Letting the back of your neck release. Gorgeous. Soften your knees, release the hands, exhale. Inhale, roll up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Roll those shoulders up and back behind you. Gorgeous. We're going to start off in a nice little Utkatasana. This is the awkward chair pose because it seems like you're going to sit, but you don't sit. Kind of like a squat, but take your feet hips distance apart. Inhale the arms up to the sky. And exhale, start to sink your hips down. The knees are going to bend. And from here, pull your belly to the back of the spine. So you're lengthening your low back now because you're doing that. Beautiful. Take a few breaths here. Exhale, fold over the legs. Beautiful. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step the right foot back behind you. Right knee comes down to the ground. You're going to move a little bit. You know, we think in yoga poses sometimes we're pretty stiff everything is just perfect. It's not. Move, adjust, make yourself comfortable to what it feels right. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky, coming straight into Anjaneyasana. That's what this pose is called. Beautiful. Take another inhale. Exhale, palms are going to come right to your heart center. Gorgeous. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Squeeze your thighs towards the midline of your body. Beautiful. Inhale the arms up again. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Take the right hand now down to the ground. You're going to walk it over to the side a little bit. Draw the right shoulder blade onto the back. And we're going to stay here with the knee on the floor, or we're going to come onto the ball of the back foot. That just feels more comfortable for me. Drawing that shoulder blade onto the back. Lengthen your tailbone still. And take that left hand up to the sky. So when you lengthen your tailbone, the left hip is going to start to drop. Lengthen your left hand up to the sky. Take a few breaths. Long spine. Lift up your heart here. Reach it forward. Beautiful. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Take your blocks here and straighten through your left leg. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, hinge over that left leg. Beautiful. Bend that front knee. Hands come to the floor. Step both knees back. Inhale, lift up into plank pose. Exhale, go through your vinyasa. Feel the strength in your arms too. Beautiful. We're going to do this on the other side. Inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky. Exhale, pull the knee into the belly. Send the right foot to the top of the mat. Drop that back knee down. Tuck the toe or untuck it. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Anjaneyasana. Take a few breaths here. Squeeze your thighs together. Tailbone reaching down. Exhale, palms to heart center. Gazing forward. Gorgeous. Left hand comes to the ground. A little bit out to the side here. And now watch as this left shoulder blade comes onto the back. You can reach that right arm up from there. Keep pressing the left hand into the ground. Maybe lifting up the back knee. Lengthen the tailbone. This is going to drop that right hip down a little bit here. Take a nice inhale and exhale. Take a few breaths here. Activate that top arm. Beautiful. And exhale. Hand to the floor. Grab onto your blocks. Straighten through your front leg. So you can come up from here and then hinge at the hips. Hands can come onto the blocks. Or if you feel like your hands can come on the floor, you can go ahead and do that. You can flex this front foot. That's going to get a little bit more stretch out of it. Beautiful. And start to bend the knee here, sending that right foot onto the floor. Hands are going to frame that front foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Lift up that knee. Inhale, step both feet together into a flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, swan dive forward here. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Knee to the ground. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Take 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, palms to heart center. We're going to switch this up. This left elbow is going to go to the outside of this right thigh. Take a nice inhale. Left elbow goes to the outside of the right thigh. Beautiful. I wish I would have done it the other way around, so I'm turning around here to show you. Beautiful. So you see I'm kind of hanging in here. I'm going to push this left elbow into my leg, push the hands into one another to lift up into this twist a little bit more. Take a few breaths. And if you are more of an advanced yogi, you can also take that left hand down to the ground, get that arm around it. reach the right arm up to the sky. Exhale, take the hands to the floor and step back to plank pose. Inhale. Beautiful. Go through your vinyasa. Your vinyasa might actually change too. You might decide, oh, I don't even want to do a vinyasa now. Just going to go straight to downward dog. Beautiful. And inhale, lift that leg up to the sky. Exhale, knee to the navel, send it to the top of the mat. Right knee comes down. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Beautiful. Few breaths here. Squeeze your thighs together. Remember, lift up the low belly to keep protecting the low back. Gorgeous. Exhale, palms to prayer. And take that right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. You're going to press it in there and then push the palms together. I like to push the left hand into the right hand. Beautiful. If you feel a little wobbly, no big deal. Just get back into it. Maybe the right hand comes to the ground, left hand reaches up. I feel bad because my alignment might be a little off because of my speaker here. Beautiful. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Send your weight onto the left foot. And set yourself up to step your back foot forward. Tuck the back toe. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Palms come together. Exhale, prayer down through center line. And I'm sporting a bit of a sweat mustache right now. It's the new rage. Grab some water, please. Beautiful. All right. Just to check the time here. I'm one of those people that run late all the time. What can you do? You just got to accept yourself for who you are. All right, let's come into some warrior poses. Actually, just to calm the system down, we won't do a vinyasa first. So we'll come into the center of the mat. This is also going to cut off some of the, cardio, but also cut off some of the time. If we want to chop the time down. Take the feet out to the side now. So if you can, face the camera. Take the legs nice and wide. The edges of the feet are parallel to one another. So this means that they're parallel to the mat and the toes are pointing forward. Hands to the hips. Lift up your low belly and soften the tailbone down. Take your right toes towards the front or back of your mat, but just make sure your right toes are pointed out and your heels are in line with each other. So now your feet are making a nice right angle. Inhale, lengthen the arms, reach through the fingertips here. Beautiful. Exhale. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, palms come together. And exhale, take that right knee over the right ankle again. Feel the feet pressing into the ground and spreading. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Soften those shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Now imagine you're palming a basketball. Start to press the hands towards that basketball. Take a few breaths. Beautiful. Inhale, right arm is going to reach up to the sky. And exhale, forearm comes to the thigh. Left arm reaches up and over for side angle pose. Beautiful. Reach through the edge of the back foot. Reach through the fingertips. Take it. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, rise on up again to warrior 2. And exhale, straighten through that right knee. Going to come into triangle pose now. You might want to take a block to the back of the shin, just like so. Or you can just use the shin here. inhale, send the hips back behind you as you reach forward, forward, forward. Hand comes to the block or the shin. Left hand reaches up to the sky. Keep the spine nice and long. Notice how I'm lengthening through my spine. I'm not slouching, just hanging out here. I'm going to lengthen through all parts here. So pressing my feet into the floor, rooting my right thigh into the hip socket, my femur bone into its hip socket. And look up at your left fingertips here. Long spine. Beautiful. Soften through the right knee. Warrior two. Exhale, take those arms down. Parallel the feet, hands to the hips. Take the left toes back behind you. And before you do that, you might want to grab onto your block and bring it to the back of the mat here. Beautiful. So setting yourself up for warrior two. Make sure those heels are in line with each other. Inhale, lengthen the arms. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Beautiful. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Palms come together. Exhale. Warrior two. Palm the basketball. I used to play basketball, so that's how I know that term. Inhale. Exhale. So you're pushing down an energy ball here. Inhale. And exhale. Reach out through that left knee. Reach out through the edge of the back foot. Lift up through the low belly here. Open up your chest. Beautiful. Inhale to reach forward. Left palm turns up. Lift up and back to peaceful warrior. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Up and over. Beautiful side angle pose. Gorgeous. Inhale. Rise on up. Warrior two again. And from here, straighten out through that front leg. Left hand comes to the shin. Right arm reaches up and over. Stretch through those fingertips. Take a few breaths here. Beautiful. Inhale. Rise on up to warrior two. Exhale. Soften the arms down. Parallel the feet. Inhale the shoulders up and back behind you. Clasp your hands. Opening up your chest. Take your tailbone down towards the floor. Look up to the sky. Check that your feet are parallel to one another. Inhale. Exhale, fold over the legs here. Beautiful. Reaching those arms up and over. Let your head soften here. Beautiful. Take your hands to your sacrum, then to your shins. Soften the knees and roll up the spine. Hands to the hips. Heel, toe your feet together. Shake out the legs. Beautiful. And from here, you can bring your feet together. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Palms come together. And exhale, prayer right down to the center line. So you could give yourself a little bit of space. Toes are together, heels are slightly apart. We're going to do an Utkatasana, awkward chair twist. So inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, start to sink in your hips. Take your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, and then start to press the hands into one another. Sink your bottom down a little bit more, and take a few breaths here. If you want to explore, maybe the left hand comes down to the ground and the right arm reaches up to the sky. Palms together and bring yourself back to center. Let's rise up. I've got achy thighs when I do that kind of stuff. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And exhale, soften. Beautiful. Wiggle your booty down into it. And take your right elbow to the outside. Make sure your knees are still lined up with one another. And pressing palm into the hand. Palm into palm. Sink your booty down. You can do it. Take the hand to the floor. Maybe the left hand reaches up. then when you're ready, fold over the legs. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Palms come together. Exhale, prayer down the center line. Give yourself a little thigh massage here. Squeeze, little knee. My husband's doing it too. He always does crazy stuff in the background to try to break me. Which he does usually break me. Okay. I just realized I spent about 5 minutes massaging my legs on camera. Okay. Come down to the floor. Now, if you're like me, you'll want to have some water now. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Let's come into a nice squat. Yes, I know I made you come down to the ground. We're going to come into a nice squat. Now, if you have trouble with squats, because maybe your heels don't touch the ground, you can roll your yoga mat and then put your heels on top of it. Take your feet, pointing the toes out, hips distance apart. Coming into your squat. I would say I have a pretty good squat here. Take your palms together and bring your elbows to the inside of your thighs. And then start to press your elbows or your back part of your triceps into the thighs here. Lengthen your spine up nice and long, just as we did in the beginning in Navasana boat pose. We don't want to round in the low back. We want to lengthen our spine up nice and long, reaching our heart forward. Keep the back of the neck long. Take a few breaths here. Beautiful. Take the left hand down to the ground. Push it against that left knee or left thigh. And then reach the right arm up to the sky here. Take some breaths here. Notice where you're feeling it, if it feels good, because it certainly does for me. But I love that little new discovery that you can make in your body of ooh, this feels good. I needed that. Especially when the body's warmed up, we can start to make those changes in the body. Beautiful. Exhale. Hands come to the ground. And then take it to the other side. The right arm's going to come out to the side. Inhale. Reach that left arm up to the sky. Take a few breaths. Beautiful. And bring yourself back to center. Undo your mat. And we're going to have a little bit of fun here. So coming into a squat. Now, I haven't done this pose in a long time, so I have no idea if I'm going to fall on my face. And if I do, totally fine. If you're afraid to fall on your face, put a pillow there. Personally, I'm not afraid to fall on my face. And it's not about fear. It's about, are you one of those people that's susceptible to getting hurt when you do things like that? When I fall on my face, I laugh. Hopefully, if I fall on my face today, I will laugh. But let's see if I'm in the mood to laugh. Beautiful. So we're coming to this squat. Bring your thighs together. Your feet are hips distance apart. Take your palms. This is even a balance in itself, honestly. And then you're going to take your hands out to the sides. So this could be totally enough for you. You could be like, yep, I did it. I did side crow today. This is what we're doing right now, is side crow. Spread through your fingers. Press the tips of the fingers into the floor. Lift up your hips a little bit. Then start to lean your right thigh, or your left thigh, pardon, on top of the backs of your arms. Now for me, I get a little shelf here. I start to bend the elbows here. Some people may not have to do that. For me, I need it. And then from there, just lengthen your heart forward. Maybe just the right foot steps up. Maybe both feet come up, and bring the feet together. Taking a few breaths here, enjoying the balance. So feeling the intricate little movements that your hands subtly makes on its own. And lifting up the hips on top of the thighs. Reach your heart forward. steady and breathe. Woo! Just having fun with it. Okay. We're having fun. We're not gymnasts here. We're just having fun with these poses. Usually you see a lot of ballerinas and gymnasts become yoga teachers, and they do all these wonderful, fancy, beautiful poses very easily. But if you haven't lived that kind of life, it might be more of a challenge for you. So, yeah. But anyway, it's all about just having fun, right? Another thing we're going to get into right now. Next, we're going to do plank pose, forearm plank. So this is good for anybody that wasn't able to do that last pose. Bring your forearms to the floor and step back into plank pose, lifting up through your low belly. Take a few breaths here. Beautiful. Knees to the ground. And then come onto your right side. Beautiful. So now we're going to come into side plank. Take your left leg over your right leg. If you have wrist stuff, you can bring your forearm onto the floor and keep it there. Press the edge of the right foot onto the floor as you lift the right hip off of the floor. Left hand can reach up to the sky. Maybe both feet stack on top of one another. Take a few breaths here. If you can put your hand directly on the floor, you can do that. Maybe stacking the feet. Taking a few breaths, long spine, lifting up your heart here. Beautiful. Exhale, switch to the other side. So you can come right through plank or forearm plank. Do the same thing you did on the one side, do it on the other side. And exhale. Hands to the floor, press back to downward facing dog. Feel that nice stretch in the spine and the chest. Knees to the beautiful ground, earth. Take your knees out in front of you. Take yourself over to face the screen again. Legs nice and wide as feels comfortable. I'm going to stretch over to one side. Beautiful. Inhale your spine nice and long. Turn yourself over towards your right side. So I'm mirroring you guys in case you haven't noticed. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And now exhale, bend this front arm. And that top arm, the left arm, is going to reach up and over. Maybe you could grab onto the foot here and take a few breaths here. Maybe you're here and you're just feeling this nice stretch in the low back and the side body. Even in the belly too. Beautiful. If that feels like too much, you could just come to here to center, maybe reaching one arm forward. Listen to your breath. Notice your breath here. Maybe your head rests on your leg. Beautiful. Take your left hand and walk it to center. Walk your hands back towards your body. Turn yourself over towards your right leg now. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over. So you're just kind of doing a back dive. Take a few breaths. Remember the adjustments. If you have to walk your hands forward and just stretch your hands forward like that, you can. Taking some breaths here. You can flex your feet, keeping them active. Engage the tops of the thighs. Engaging the tops of your thighs actually shuts off the hamstrings. So if the hamstrings are pretty tight, that's going to deactivate them. Nice long breaths here. Maybe even your left shoulder comes to the ground, or the inside of the leg. Beautiful. And let's rise on up. Take your legs out to the front of your mat or the back of your mat. Grab the backs of your thighs and roll onto your back. Take your hands onto the floor. Wiggle out your hips here for a moment. Bring your knees together. And then windshield wiper out your knees here. Heel toe your feet to center. And we're setting up for bridge here. So reach your fingers towards your back of your foot here. If you could feel it, you're in the right spot. Inhale, lift the hips up towards the sky and clasp the hands. Bring the shoulders underneath the body here. Soften the glutes as you lift the hips up to bridge pose, pressing your feet into the ground. Take a few breaths here. Another thing I like to do, I don't know why I like to do this. I can't tell you the origin to where I learned this. You can take your hands to the wrists. This might hurt if you have wrist problems. To the back of your hips. And just lift your hips up like this. I might have just discovered this one day sitting in the pose and just decided I enjoy it. An alternative to that, of course, is taking a block and placing it underneath the sacrum. So come on down if you're in bridge and windshield wiper out your knees again. If you want to take a block and place it underneath your sacrum, you can come into this. Beautiful. If you want to take another bridge, go for it. If you're ready for a deeper back bend wheel pose, we didn't go crazy preparing the body for that, but if it's easy for you, you can go ahead. You take your hands back behind you and press your hands into the floor. Feet are hips distance apart. Lifting yourself up, pushing your feet into the ground. Whenever you're ready, you'll come on down. Beautiful. If you're any other pose, come on down from it. You're going to scoot yourself so that your head's at the back or the top of the mat. Feet come down to the sides. Whew, take your arms out to a T. Bend the right knee. Just do a little twist here. One side. And then take the leg down, switch it to the other side. Beautiful. Let's close our eyes when we take our leg onto the floor. Bring your arms a little bit of distance away from the body. Close your eyes. And take a nice inhale and exhale out a nice sigh. And notice your breath. You can very much see the breath rising and falling in the belly. So bring your mind's eye attention there. See the breath rising and falling in the belly. Noticing its pace. To let go of the muscles of your body, letting go of the legs, the arms, the back, letting them all just meld with the earth. Soften your throat and the muscles of your face, releasing your jaw. Now take a time here to make a little wish for yourself. Give yourself a little wish, something you would like to invite for yourself. Allow yourself to open up to that wish and allow that wish of yours to be granted. Bringing your attention back to the breath, either at the nostrils or the belly. And taking about 5 more rounds of breath here. And begin to wiggle out through the toes and the fingers. Maybe circling your ankles a little bit here. Take an inhale, point those toes and reach the arms up overhead in the opposite direction, stretching from fingertip to toe. You can spread your toes. Exhale, take yourself over to the left side. Coming into the fetal position. Beautiful. Press your right hand into your mat or the floor and start to rise up. Eyes are closed, coming into a beautiful cross-legged position. Taking a moment to notice how you feel. You can give yourself a smile here that you have completed your practice. Did something good for yourself. Beautiful. Inhale the palms to the heart center. I'll do a quick chant and then we'll seal our practice with a namaste. Oh, an om and a namaste. This chant means, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Take an inhale for the sound of Om. Taking your thumbs to your third eye, bowing to the individual light, to the universal light. The light in me is honored by the light in you. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write a comment here. Also visit our website, beintheworldyoga.com. We have great meditations there. And also if you sign up, you get 2 free meditations, which are awesome. One is a protection. I like to call it a protection spell. And the other one is to help you sleep through the night. So please check those out. I just also want to recommend another meditation called the Counting Backwards meditation. That's actually a blog that we have, and a lot of people have given me great feedback that they've been consistently doing their meditation because of that. So please check us out, and I adore you. I love you. Namaste.